Look, conservatives have ignored this issue for far, far too long. And here I'm not banging my usual drum about conservatives ignoring education, although that's part of it. Conservatives in the 1980s, during the Reagan Revolution, won politically. And they won a lot of foreign policy victories, and they won some domestic victories. But what they ignored were institutions of culture, K-12 education, universities, the core of bureaucrats that runs the government, Hollywood. Right? These are cultural and governmental institutions with enormous amount of power to shape public debate and, in the case of education, to shape young minds. And conservatives essentially ceded those territories to the left and went home happy about their victories in the political arena in the 80s. I think we're in grave danger now of repeating that mistake. Look, since 2016, conservatives have held a certain amount of electoral power. We've held some of the levers of government, and since actually 2010 and 2012, conservatives and Republicans at least have held plenty of seats in state legislatures, plenty of governorships, but they have not focused on where the left is strong, and that's in institutions of culture. And this is the end result of allowing leftist progressives to run rampant in our institutions of culture, and particularly in K-12 education, where for some reason conservatives don't want to prioritize the one solution that might actually change things, which is to give these parents who are protesting this curriculum. We have 800 parents in Fremont. Fremont is in the Bay Area. I promise you, it is no bastion of conservatism. You have 800 parents signing a petition to prevent their district from using this framework. Their district is going to use that framework anyway. The only way to change things is to empower those parents with school choice, to allow them control over the dollars that all of us, the public, invest in public education, because there's no such thing as a values-neutral education. And when conservatives got out of education, the progressive left got in, and this is the end result.
Right. And it really, truly is shocking to think that state governments, the state government of California has so much power over the public schools, which we, the citizens of California, fund. It's our money that funds this, that they have so much power that the parents of the children being educated have absolutely no voice in the type of education that their children are receiving. That should absolutely shock us. What should shock us even more is that you're exactly correct when you say that conservatives have just let the radical left have these cultural institutions. It should shock us that someone who is the director of curriculum and instructional frameworks at the California Department of Education can make a claim as ridiculous as teaching 5-year-olds transgenderism is really a civil rights issue, and she just gets away with saying that. That is so patently absurd, and it's so insulting to actual civil rights issues. And yet nobody, aside from me perhaps, and a couple of other people on the conservative side of the aisle, even dare to challenge her.